Hey, and welcome back to another tutorial video in this course. Today I'm going to be showing you how to print over the zipper of a hoodie and over the pocket. Figured I would kill two birds with one stone and just show you an item that has both the zip and the pocket instead of making two different videos. So it'll be easier to comprehend. And as long as you can print over the zip, you should be perfectly fine with printing over the pocket. It's the same principles. You lower the platen, not too low to where the ink is overspraying on the hoodie and then you're getting those blurry prints, but just low enough to where it goes through with a slight pressure applied by your hands or fingers or however you want to do it. But I will show you the way we do it. A lot of shops can't do it and they don't offer it because they figure it to be too tricky. There are platens that are custom made for printing pockets and zips, but we don't use those. We completely ignore them because we figured out our own way how to do it. It's very simple, very rudimentary. There's nothing really complex about it, but I'll go ahead and show you how we're able to do 16 by 21 inch prints over the pocket and over the zipper of a hoodie. First things first, we're gonna upload our design to the printer. So in this case, we're using our Barcode system. And if you're in the enterprise tier course, I'll be showing you this entire setup later. But for now, once we scan, the graphics going to be sent to the printer. We have our sharing switch set to this printer, so now we can see it's receiving, and then we upload our garment. Now that we have our hoodie on our platen, it's our responsibility to make sure that the hoodie is even on both sides and flat enough to go inside the printer. So first things first, we're going to start with making it even. And to do that, we can look at this hole right here. This hole identifies the center of the platen. And when you move your finger across, you want the zipper to be aligned with that hole. And then at the top of the platen, we have like a slight indent, and that also identifies the center of the platen. You're looking at both the back here, this little hole in the back, and the engraving in the front to line up your zipper. You also want to visually make sure that it looks centered to you. So look over here for visual cues, such as the edge of the pocket being on the edge of the platen on the right side, and then on the left side, the edge of the pocket also being on the edge of the platen. Once you have the zipper, the pockets, the top and bottom lined up evenly, you can then tuck in. And the reason we're able to tuck in so effortlessly is because we use the gripper kit from Brother. I'll put it up on the screen for you and also include it in the course. So it's essentially just a rubber piece that you can tuck between, and it holds your garments in, tuck them in nice and snug so they don't move around and you don't have to worry about your garments not staying down. The two rubber slabs do a good job of holding your garment nice and tucked on the platen. So it's an extension that you can get on Brother. It's called the gripper kit. We have this for our adult 16 by 21 inch platen, and they do have them available for other platen sizes. So now that we have everything lined up and perfectly even, we're gonna push in our platen. I like to use my body weight instead of pushing it in because you don't know how much pressure to apply on it, and then sometimes you end up slamming it. So I simply just lean in and you hear that light click. Now that we have it nice and even and tucked in and pushed in, we know that this is too high. It's gonna have optical sense on platen because there's a laser back here that can tell when the fabric is too close to the print head. So we're gonna use our lever in the bottom, and I like to lower it halfway down. That's our median for pocketed hoodies, but for zip hoodies, a zip and pocket, we wanna lower it down at least 1 to 2 notches from the center notch. If the plastic lever is facing this way, you wanna lower it until 2 clicks. So like 1, 2 clicks lower from the center point. And now that this is lowered to the right height, we can print it. However, if you're having struggles with a hoodie that is not going in because it's still saying optical sensed on the platen, what we do is hold the center down while it's going in. The slight pressure allows it to enter the printer at the right height without being detected by the laser. Perfect. So luckily this one went in the printer as expected on 2 notches down without an issue. However, there are hoodies that have a higher up zipper cover that's a little bit thicker and it's harder to go inside. So luckily this hoodie doesn't have that and it went inside nice and smoothly. So I'll be showing you in the next example when you do have to actually use the method where you're holding it down slightly so it goes in without being detected. So now that it's done printing, we can confirm that the design is nice and centered, and this looks amazing to me. We have the over the pocket print, we have the over the zipper print, no visual issues at all. Make sure when you're pre-treating these that you pre-treat the right amount in the right areas, especially having enough for the crevices so the print and the ink can sit on there nicely and it doesn't look distorted. So that's how you do over the pocket, over the zipper print in your machines. I didn't state the obvious like pre-treating and pre-pressing because that's guaranteed with every print. Just make sure you're using enough. Like I said, as long as your hoodies are nice and straight, everything should come out fine. In the next example, I'm going to show you a hoodie with a little bit of a thicker zipper cover, the covers that go over the zipper, and how much harder those are to print and how to use the pressure method to get them to go into the printer without an issue. All right, so now we have a beautifully dried over the zipper and pocket print here. So you can see everything is nice and just perfect on this hoodie. If you don't have a tunnel dryer, you can still heat press it with the same result. So once it dries, you don't have to worry about hair peeling or anything crazy. It's still gonna have the same result as long as you pre-treat it correctly and you print it evenly. So now onto a hoodie with a thicker zipper cover. Here you can see it covers the zipper, so you can, it's basically made to print over the pocket, but that being said, it makes it a little bit challenging to print over the pocket since it's so thick. I mean over the zipper actually, not over the pocket. So we're gonna pre-press, but this is something we do naturally anyway. You always want to pre-press your garments, but specifically if this one is giving you a problem, just make sure you press it on high pressure for about 10 to 15 seconds. Once it's done, it should be a little flatter, so you can then proceed to print. As always, we're going to scan our barcode and load up our front design. While it's loading up, we're going to put Hoodie on here and do the same exact thing that we just did with the previous hoodie. We're going to line up our hole with our zipper, bring it across, make sure the zipper in the front lines up with the front groove. We're gonna tuck in the back to hold it in place. Tuck the hood under to stretch it and make it tight enough to hold its positioning. And we're gonna tuck in the sides. And also we're gonna confirm that both sides of the pocket are the same distance away from the edge of the platen. You can see here, they're both about 1 inch away. So this hoodie is dead centered. We have our design loaded up already with the quick barcode print on demand system. So now we're going to go ahead and lower our platen to the second down from the center placement. The height adjustment lever is in the center. You just go 2 more down, 2 clicks down. We have it here now. And you don't want to put it really any lower than that unless the garment is super thick. Otherwise, you risk overspray and getting a blurry print. However, if all else fails and you're pressing it down and it's still not going in and it's just consistently giving you errors, that means you should probably lower it down 1 or 2 more notches. But I recommend trying to get it to go in the printer on the second to the last notch before actually going all the way down to the last notch. That's your completely last resort. So just make sure you press your hoodies so they're nice and flat, and then use the pressure method, which I'm about to show you right now. So we're gonna apply some pressure in the back, and we're gonna keep our hands here while it's moving in. If you have a pocketed hoodie and the pocket is giving you issues on the side, you would put your thumbs like this while it's going in and guide it this way. So I'll show you this way for example's sake. Now we're gonna apply light pressure on one side of the platen so we can use our other hand to print. And then once we press print, we're gonna put our other hand on the platen to help it go through without getting sensed by the laser. So here we go. So obstacle sense on platen. Where it happened was right around here. I think this is the issue. Pockets should be fine. We're just gonna focus on the center now and use one hand instead. We're gonna have it going like that. So over time, you will get better at figuring out what is the issue. Wherever the platen stops is basically where the height adjustment was detected, you know, the obstacle being detected on the printer. Wherever it stops, that's where you want to look at and see, okay, which area of the garment is too high or is being sensed by the laser, and just readjust your strategy to fix that. In the first example, I was just showing you using both hands for like bigger pocket hoodies, like kangaroo pouches that maybe are sticking up. You want to do this method, the W method. But for things like the zipper and obstacle, like just in the center and the pockets were fine, you would just use the single hand method to get the zipper cover lower down to be able to go in nice and smooth, as we have over here. Now we have our beautifully printed design over the zipper flap, nicely done. Shops shy away from doing this, but if you have two hands, it's possible. As you've seen here, I've done it on 2 zips without fail in this video, and it just goes to show how much you can actually offer that you might be shying away from, which is probably costing you money, a lot of money, and it's going to shops like us, because these are live orders. These are actual customers' orders that I'm using as an example here. So these are people who want this type of stuff, but you're not able to do it because you're too scared to try to make it work or figure it out. Definitely recommend offering over the pocket, over the zipper prints, because there is a market for it. And if you can do it as a shop, you already set yourself apart from all your competition, because the other shops don't want to offer it because it's too hard. Definitely consider using these tips and tricks in this video. I hope I was able to help you out and help you understand how it all works and the most efficient way of getting it done. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.